All of our kids have said yes in different ways. Like Sam said S. And I feel like Bella for a long time, like it was like das. Das. Everything was, and that was also, it was do and das.
Yeah, and Eleanor's just,
Das.
yes, daddy.
Yeah, well, our cute sweetness. And Adeline, you ready? This is Adeline.
Don't talk to me.
Did you have a good day? What'd you eat for breakfast?
You look beautiful today. Man, that was a really smart thing to do. Hey, would you like me to fix you your favorite breakfast, the French toast?
That's what she does.
It is what she does.
I like that kid, though.
I love that kid.
Yeah.
We've been telling the story of the American farmer for a little over a decade. Fell in love with the life so much that
We bought a farm.
we bought a farm. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I knew 12, 15 years ago when we started this how important family was to them. Like everybody says family's important, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people think family's important, but farmers think like in generations.
Yeah.
Right?
They want to
think
leave a legacy.
They want to leave a legacy.
Like, and that it touches. They plant oak trees, like, would probably be like this simplest one. Like, they plant one and they plan on their great grandkids getting married under it.
Yeah.
They'll never see it for all of its glory.
There was a song by Sarah Groves years ago called Generations.
I love that song.
Yeah, and it talks about what I do today will impact my great grandkids. And I don't think people think like that hardly anymore.
No.
And they might, you know. I think every generation judges themselves and the next generation as not being as good as they were or the generation before, right? And I think, and we do live in a different world today.
We live in a different world. I
world.
don't know what this generation, current one, is thinking.
I don't know if
about.
it's a generation. I mean, I think it's certain people want to teach people things, but I mean, we could talk about that all day, but I don't care to talk about that because I want our kids to learn right from wrong, and I want our kids to know that they're loved.
Yeah.
I want our kids
To love others well.
To love others well, right? And that's hard.
Yeah, to not be selfish
Yeah.
in a world that says it's all about you.
I mean, what do you guys call me in the morning times?
You want me to say that on camera?
Grumpy Bear.
Grumpy Bear.
Let's leave it there. Let's just stop right there.
You want to list all the names?
No, but it is hard. It's hard to when you're tired
Yeah.
to love your kids. Right? It's hard to not think of yourself.
Yep.
And I mean, and ultimately, and whether it's selfish or not, I don't know, but this land and this farm and what we're doing is so we can have that experience that we've fallen in love with, right? With the American farmer.
But for teaching like ourselves and our kids how not to be selfish, because when you're on the farm, there's not a choice. You cannot call in sick.
No.
Penelope has to be fed.
Because, yeah, she calls in sick.
She would call.
All day.
She would call.
All day.
And the chickens everything has to keep going. And if you leave that garden alone, then weeds take over the whole blasted
We left.
thing.
It was like, how long did we not come out here? A week?
Yeah.
And we couldn't even tell what the rows were barely.
No.
So much goes into growing a crop. And I mean, I think back to what Ray Morris said in one of our first videos about just planting that seed and seeing that green little seedling come up.
Yeah.
Right? He talked
You
about...
want to cheer him on. I literally talk to my babies in the kitchen come on, little guy. Grow big.
Yeah, yesterday, because your tomatoes had caught that disease, I thought you were going to cry.
I did when you weren't looking.
You did cry?
It was so sad. Stupid dirt. I tried to make my own potting soil and we have some bad dirt. And some bad dirt got in there and the little guys died and they were doing so good.
Life gets crazy. Ray also said in that video, he said that in the morning when you go out and you see the animals, you feed the animals, you look at your crops, you can see that God is in control, right?
Yeah.
And by the time the end of the day gets there, the phone calls are coming in and everything's breaking down and you just kind of lose seeing that. I mean, it's hard to stay focused.
It is really difficult to stay focused. I think it's easier when you're on the farm though.
You think?
I think so. It's easier than when we lived in town, or because life from the moment you wake up, it goes.
Do you remember when we used to live
giggling?
in Georgia? Well, I was
Are you
thinking
about to giggle at me?
I don't giggle, Birdie.
I was very okay. What do you do?
Turtle.
Turtle. That's a funny word. Yeah, I know where you're already going. I'm really good at it now, though. I know.
You don't know where I'm going. We lived a mile from
do
Publix,
know.
and you said, "Hey, I'm gonna go to town." Is that what you're really good at, or something else?
No, I knew that's where you were going, but I'm really good at it now. Like, now I know where the sun's coming up from and when it's going down, and I know when the moons are coming, and like, I know a lot about a lot of things.
You have to. You learn about it.
You do.
Just
when you're
being out in it.
You do. You have to know. Because the animals care about that stuff, and the plants care about that stuff. It's the craziest thing in the world.
Going to the grocery store is crazy.
You can see the stars.
You can see the stars. All of them. Every single. We saw a comet the other night.
It's incredible.
Everything. It is.
It's a lot of cool things out here.
So family's where it's at, right?
Yeah.
But family also is crazy sometimes.
Family's very crazy. A big family is crazy. 5 kids is a lot. How many kids were we going to have when we...
My dream was to have 2 kids. Like, I thought 2 kids.
I don't think you ever told me that.
Well, I didn't have time because we were having kids.
Insert all the old people inappropriate jokes.
Every single person. Hey, you could hang a TV up in your room.
You know what causes that, don't you? Nope. Got no idea.
There was another farmer in the Southeast that I remember him saying one time, he said, "Chad, you want your kids to make good decisions? Make them easy. Make them easy." And what he meant, he said, my son lives right over there, and my daughter lives right over there, and my grandkids live right over there. He said, when it was time for them to move out and be their own people, I just gave them land. Now they all live right here. Just make it easy.
I know that makes you so happy.
Heck yeah, it makes me happy.
Chad wants to mother hen the kids for like his whole life.
It's father hen the kids. Father, that doesn't
Not
matter.
a hen. What's wrong with
Father
you?
rooster. What if father rooster the kids?
Roosters don't hen their
You
children.
called a mother hen?
But you are.
I love my kids.
You do really love the kids. It is cute though. The kids are already like, some of them have where their house is going to be planned and who's going to live in it with them or not live in it with them. Poor Sam, he's got so many sisters, and he said he's going to live with his 5 dogs down by the creek, and so he can see the deer. It's going to be real quiet. The deer will walk through his backyard. Him and the dogs can swim in the creek. And he's gonna have a mechanic shop,
Which is very cool.
It's so cool. And he got that because he got to do cool mechanic-y things out here.
Yeah, and it'll probably change, right? I mean,
It's gonna change a million
He'll
times.
change a million times. He may end up going to college and being an architect or an engineer because he's really smart like that, right? That's part of our responsibility as parents is to help figure out what their bend is, what God has planned for them in their life,
Yep.
right? And I think being out here and getting to spend that time with them and getting to just see who they are, we have a
Yeah.
much better opportunity to do that.
Even in the girls, I mean, being around the animals, you've seen who has like that empathy and who's doesn't have it.
Which,
We have some that are like, well, one that's just really like cut and dry about things, like.
but it's funny because the
Everything
empathetic
lives,
one,
everything dies.
The empathetic one, literally, we had if you could call it a wild potbelly pig, it was a wild potbelly pig that came in the yard. Wandering in the yard, destroyed some stuff. It made love to the archery targets.
Oh my gosh.
Then it destroyed the archery targets.
It got married.
And the next thing we know, our 5-year-old screaming, 6-year-old screaming, "Get the gun! Get the
Oh my
gun!
gosh, I want bacon.
I want bacon!" And she's the one that loves animals.
Yeah.
High
Yeah.
five. High
I
five
know.
on that.
Good job on that one. I was proud in that moment that she was like, I'm gonna go get that bacon. And that would not be her personality. But it's cool that she's seen the circle of life and knows that it has like, hey, these chickens are here for a reason, and yes, they can bring us joy, but they're providing breakfast tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Or the chicks on our counter.
So I'm getting that thing that I've heard for years from farmers about family. It's always been important to me, right? But that generational thinking about making a difference in their life for generations to come.
Yeah.